Now that's what I'm talking about. That's the spirit, boys. That's how you make big things happen. Woo! Now I'm sure this is an unsettling time for so many Bears fans. What's your name? Matt, Chad, Joe, Stan. Dad pretty much hit all the Chicago names. Probably sitting there during the game and saying, "Oh, dear God, please, oh please, let my dear beloved Chicago Bears win, even though this win would mean absolutely nothing." Like, what is so hard for Bears fans to understand about the basic premise of this team sucks? The start to the year of 5-1 was a complete and total fluke, like the hell I told you it was. They're not a playoff team. They're not going to make the playoffs. All wins do at this point in time is continue the chance that Pace and Nagy retain for another year, and who the hell wants that, and cost this team valuable position in the draft, especially going into next year, knowing that they're going to need to get a quarterback. Why, oh why, oh why would any real Bears fan actually want this dumb dick organization to win a football game on Sunday? Why not lose this game and in the process also hurt the Lions draft position? Like, we're thinking several levels ahead here. This is playing chess. This is meta type of stuff. Like, this is what we should be talking about. These dopes and these idiots that still want to believe that Mitchell Trubisky as an NFL starting quarterback could be a thing. Oh, God, it's only going to rage and get worse after today. Oh, yes. Let's rage about Mitchell Trubisky looking average against a poorly coached, poorly disciplined, lacking in talent, shitty Detroit Lions defensive unit. And guess what? On that third down late in the game, when it came down to truly nut-cutting time, what happens? Fumble! Deep in their own territory! Give it up! It doesn't make you a better fan or a real fan for sitting there and wanting to continue to support and perpetuate this cycle of mediocrity. Get over it, ding-dong, dumb dicks. We've been down this path for many decades now. Enough! If anything, it makes you less of a fan for continuing to support the same garbage that you consistently see. Why would you want this team to win? Well, because clearly this Bears team themselves doesn't want to win at this point, so why the hell would you want them to? Like other fan bases out there, embrace the tank. The Jets continue to find ways to tank and make sure that they lose. The Jags and their fans certainly have embraced the tank to the best of their abilities. But year in and year out, no matter how mediocre or crappy this team is, Bears fans want to root for meaningless victories against other bad football teams like the Lions. Why? And how crazy is it? Today you actually got a decent performance out of Trubisky. It wasn't great, but it was decent. He wasn't fall flat on your face and embarrassingly sucky. You know, Nick Foles, for example. He wasn't that. He looked semi-competent today. He had some decent decisions, some decent throws. You know, still not going over 300 yards because that would be what a true NFL starting quarterback could do on a somewhat consistent basis. And Trubisky has a severe allergy to that. But nonetheless, Trubisky was not the problem today. I appreciated him showing up in clutch time like he did. That was a nice fumble, like, let's make sure we leave no doubt here. Woo! But the Bears were able to run the ball. Like, Montgomery had a big game. Cordell Patterson was doing some good things on the ground. Like, everything pointed to the Bears should have been able to win this game going away. You know, even with the first drive when Nagy pushed out on 4th and 4 in Lions territory and instead kicked the field goal. You're like, yeah, that's typical Nagy pussing out. But then the Lions come back after the Bears kick the field goal, come back on 4th down, and they don't get the first down. You're thinking, uh-oh, we're in trouble here. Bears might actually be pining to win this game. They want to respond after that embarrassing loss in prime time against the Packers. Well, it's always a good reminder of there are 60 minutes in a football game. And that's why they play the game. Because, by God, for a season where we've been talking about the ineptitude and the suckage of this offensive unit, leave it to the Bears to come back with an elite bounce-back performance on the defensive side of the ball. A week after giving up 40-plus points to the Green Bay Packers and getting their shit pushed in and thoroughly and holistically, ritualistically embarrassed and sodomized on prime time against Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, sir. May we have another. You would expect this Bears unit, chock full of large, significant draft pick investment, large, significant salary cap investment, multiple Pro Bowlers in that unit, Pro Bowlers at every level of the defense, would come out and make a statement today and play big and play up to that alleged elite moniker that they haven't deserved since 2018, right? Right? Oh. Instead, they consistently rolled over and played dead for the Lions. They were the Bears that were the power bottoms today. Because every time they had a chance, they took it straight up the pooper. They gave up 34 points to the Lions. 34! 34! And that's even with Stat Padford trying to hand the Bears defense the game in the fourth quarter. Here you go, Bilal Nichols, right to you on the side armor. And they still screwed the pooch. Even there late, when Trubisky fumbles because the offensive line couldn't block shit when it really matters. Imagine that. They couldn't stop. As one follower on Twitter called AP our stepdaddy, because that's kind of what he is. We can leave the bleeding testicles part out, but still, nonetheless, at least an elite or somewhat good defensive unit would have at least made the stop there, contain the Lions to a field goal, and say, hey, you know what? Made the best of a bad situation. Game's tied. Offense back with the ball. Chance to win. Under 2 minutes to go. And instead, the Bears defense said, no, AP, ram it! And that's what he did. All day, straight up their rear on that one, huh? I mean, what a joke. What a pathetically embarrassing performance. They couldn't cover anybody all day. They're tackling. You had a couple of highlights of the back end of the defense actually tackling well, and then the rest of the game they tackled in a piss-poor fashion. Chuck Pagano's defensive scheme, once again, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but really, really bad. Takes a special kind of stupid, a special type of suck, to take a unit that you've invested that many high draft picks, that much salary cap space into, and make them look pedestrian. And that's exactly what the hell Chuck Pagano did today! Woohoo! To me, this is nothing more than the football gods collecting on the karma from the loss that shouldn't have been for the Lions in week 1. The Bears had no business winning that game, and yet ultimately they did. And karma, best believe, came back at 100,000% collected on them today. So it's a wash. Week 1 is the game that the Lions should have won. The Bears won it instead. Today, you would argue, is the game that it looked like the Bears should have won for all intents and purposes through the first 58-plus minutes. And for that, you would absolutely be correct. And that didn't happen. Like, I am so happy right now. It's a celebration, bitches! Because now the Bears sit there at 5-7. Any remaining delusions of the playoffs have been eliminated. Now even the most ardent of Bears fans have to acknowledge and understand that even in a game where the offense actually kind of sort of showed up and put 30 fucking points up on the board, the defense responds by giving up 34. Blow the whole damn thing up! Welcome to the wagon, folks. I've been leading the train for a while now. It's nice to have more of you jump on board every week. Hopefully you're not throwing out your backs or your hips or fucking up your knees jumping on board. I'm welcoming you. You're still welcome to come on. But like, seriously, what is it about Bears fans that they want to root for meaningless victories over crappy divisional opponents like the Lions? Like it matters any bit. It doesn't. Who cares? And you're going to say, well, tanking doesn't do anything. Well, even in Chicago recently, you've seen where tanking works. The Cubs won a World Series. They went through a full tank. The White Sox tanked and built themselves into a potential future contender until they hired Tony La Russa. Yes, you can say the Bulls have been freaking rebuilding for 2+ decades, but we've actually seen some recent evidence. Chicago, the Blackhawks, tanked for years. Intentional or not, doesn't matter. They did. And eventually they got 3 freaking Stanley Cups out of the Canadian Toews era. So what the fuck are you talking about? That tanking doesn't work. You've not only seen it in other leagues and other sports, you've seen it right there with other Chicago teams, you idiots. Like, you try to talk nice to people, and they don't get it. You try to insult people to jar them and wake them up, because it is obvious that reality is staring your stupid selves right in the face, and you just don't want to accept it. I'm going to start having to act like the tribal chief and treat y'all like you're Jey Uso. If you don't get the reference, look it up. That's why I'm so glad when all of you were praying to the football gods who aren't going to make shit happen. I prayed to the one God that really matters, the man of 3 H's, because by God, he makes miracles happen time after time after time. And he did here. Like, this is all that matters. Lose them all, Chicago. Lose them all. I know it feels like we were just down this road a few years ago, because we were. But there is absolutely nothing to be gained from winning any more games. Frankly, as I've already done a video about, why are we waiting to fire Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy? They're now 5-7. Another embarrassing loss in a different fashion against a divisional opponent. They are 1-3 in the division. They are 5-7. This team has lost 6 games in a row. And their record, in all reality, should be more like 2-10 or 3-9, not even 5-7. Like 5-7 is generous because of some of the fluky ass wins at the beginning of the year. Fire them all and do it now. There is no reason to wait, because you're either delaying the inevitable or continuing the cycle of McCaskey mediocrity. Do you want to run the risk of the Bears winning 3 or 4 more games and they go 8-8 or 9-7, and all of a sudden you're bringing back Nagy and Pace for another season, and in that case, maybe even worse, they wouldn't let them be in there on the last year of their contracts, especially Pace. They'll probably give him a freaking contract extension. Is that what you clowns want? I'm so happy right now. I can't even tell you. 3.5 decades. This stuff has gotten old. It is time for a change. And don't you dare come at me talking about, oh, what type of fan are you? You know what type of fan I am? I'm the type of fan that doesn't sit there like an idiot on Sundays rooting for this team to win when they have nothing to gain from it and so much to lose.